Welcome back to our channel. Today, in quiet reverence, we remember the talented artists who left us too soon, some only just days ago. From the icons of Hollywood to rising stars, they each brought light to the world of entertainment until they passed away suddenly. If you feel moved by their stories, we invite you to leave a like as a silent tribute in their memory. Thank you. Now, let us begin.
If you ain't never done it before, it will work the snot out.
Junior Edwards, the legendary alligator hunter and swamp people icon, has sadly passed away at the age of 61, leaving behind a legacy carved deep into the swamps of Louisiana. Known nationwide since 2010, Junior was more than a TV personality. He was the soul of a disappearing American way of life. His death was confirmed on July 26th by his grandson, Lil Willie Edwards, in a heartbreaking tribute on social media. While no official cause has been released, the family had previously shared that Junior was battling serious health issues and needed a miracle. Junior rose to fame as an original cast member of Swamp People, showcasing raw survival skills, hand-built boats, and multi-generational Cajun tradition. Over 15 seasons, he hauled in thousands of pounds of fish, caught hundreds of alligators each year, and mentored both his son and grandson. He became a cultural touchstone, a living legend of the bayou. But his life was not without pain. After losing his son Randy in a tragic 2018 car accident, Junior quietly stepped away from the spotlight. Yet his spirit never wavered. He made a powerful comeback in season 12, rejoining the hunt with his family, a moment of redemption and resilience that deeply moved longtime fans. At the time of his passing, Junior's estimated net worth was $400,000. Earned not through fame, but decades of honest labor. He is survived by his wife of 43 years, Teresa, their children and grandchildren. In every ripple of swamp water and every cast net, his legacy lives on. Malcolm-Jamal Warner, the beloved Theo Huxtable of The Cosby Show and a quiet force in Black American artistry, has tragically passed away at the age of 54. On July 20th, while swimming at Playa Cocos in Costa Rica, he was caught in a deadly rip current. Despite the desperate efforts of beachgoers and local responders, he could not be revived. His death was confirmed by Costa Rica's Caribbean Guard. Warner became a household name in the 1980s, portraying the charming and quick-witted son of Cliff Huxtable. But fame never defined him. After The Cosby Show, he ventured far beyond the sitcom stage, directing, producing, recording music, and ultimately winning a Grammy in 2015. For the last decade, he quietly built a second life in Los Angeles, where he mentored young artists and brought soulful storytelling to voice acting and spoken word. He didn't chase a comeback. He crafted a second chapter with deliberate grace, trading applause for authenticity. Watching him grow over the years, from teen idol to thoughtful creator, felt like witnessing a friend age into wisdom. I still remember hearing his voice narrate a documentary on Black resilience, calm, steady, and full of weight. It stayed with me. At the time of his death, Warner's net worth was estimated at $6 million, the result of hard-earned artistry and foresight. He left behind more than a career. He left behind a compass for those of us who value quiet strength and purpose.
Because it just means so much to him what he does. He loves to perform.
Ozzy Osbourne, the voice behind Crazy Train, founder of Ozzfest, and godfather of heavy metal, has tragically passed away at the age of 76. His wife, Sharon Osbourne, confirmed the news on July 22nd. Ozzy died peacefully at his family estate in Buckinghamshire, England, after a long struggle with Parkinson's disease and years of declining health. He was surrounded by his children, Kelly and Jack, during his final hours. Born in Birmingham in 1948, Ozzy rose from factory town obscurity to change the sound of music forever. With Black Sabbath, he helped invent heavy metal. As a solo artist, he turned pain into power, releasing timeless hits like Crazy Train and Mama, I'm Coming Home. He sold over 100 million records, won Grammy Awards, and launched Ozzfest, giving a stage to generations of metal artists. But fame came with a price. Ozzy faced addiction, scandals, and even near-death experiences. From the infamous bat-biting to a 2003 ATV crash. And still, he returned. Bruised, yes, but fiercely alive. He faced Parkinson's with honesty, refusing to disappear even as the disease stole his voice. I still remember sitting beside my father, feeling Ozzy's voice shake the walls. It was more than music. It was a mirror for our own darkness, and proof that we could survive it. At the time of his death, Ozzy's estate was valued at $220 million. But what he gave the world can't be counted. His legacy is eternal. His fire, unforgettable. Jimmy Swaggart, the firebrand televangelist whose voice once echoed through radios and stadiums across America, has sadly passed away at the age of 90. His family confirmed the news on July 1st through his ministry's official channels. Swaggart died at Baton Rouge General Medical Center, weeks after suffering cardiac arrest at his home in Louisiana. Swaggart rose from poverty in rural Faraday to become a Pentecostal powerhouse in the 1980s. His weekly broadcasts reached over 3,000 stations. His gospel albums sold more than 17 million copies, and he authored over 100 books, including the Expositor's Study Bible, with 4 million in circulation. At his peak, he raised over $100 million annually and packed stadiums with sermons filled with fervor and song. But his journey was marred by scandal. In 1988, after condemning other preachers, Swaggart confessed to moral failure on live television. His fall was public, painful, and nearly final. Yet even after being defrocked, he returned, humbled but undeterred. He kept preaching, kept singing, even joining the church band in his late 80s with a voice still clear and true. I remember my grandmother tuning in every Sunday, eyes closed, hand on her heart, as Jimmy sang about grace. His ministry may have shrunk, but his presence endured. At the time of his death, his estate was valued at $5 million, yet his legacy of redemption and resilience is worth far more. Robbie Pardlo, the heartfelt voice behind City High's anthem, What Would You Do, has sadly passed away at the age of 46. Surrounded by loved ones, he died on July 17th in Willingboro, New Jersey. His family confirmed the news, though no cause of death has been released. Pardlo found fame in the early 2000s with City High, a Grammy-nominated R&B trio known for their socially conscious lyrics and emotional delivery. The group's platinum hit, What Would You Do, became a cultural touchstone. But behind the success was deep personal turmoil. After the group disbanded, Robbie spiraled into alcoholism and depression, worsened by the emotional fallout of a love triangle with bandmates Claudette Ortiz and Ryan Toby. His addiction led to a public breakdown, captured in a raw and unforgettable episode of Intervention in 2008. That broadcast marked a turning point. Robbie entered rehab, embraced sobriety, and slowly rebuilt his life. Though he never returned to the charts, he found quiet meaning in small performances, poetry, and honest storytelling. He became a symbol of vulnerability, redemption, and strength through struggle. I'll never forget hearing "What Would You Do" as a teen. It hit like truth. Robbie Pardlo's legacy isn't just in platinum records, but in the courage to face pain, speak out, and keep going.
Basically going to boys' schools back in the 50s and 60s, my entire life.
Michael Douglas had the name, the face, the fame, but what the world didn't see was the pain. The son of a Hollywood Titan actor Kirk Douglas and actress Diana Dill, he grew up under Klieg lights and towering expectations. To millions, he seemed destined for greatness. But inside, he wrestled with distance, doubt, and a quiet longing to be seen not just as Kirk Douglas's son, but as someone entirely his own. If you've ever felt the pressure to live up to someone else's dream, or wondered whether the spotlight can hide more than it reveals, stay with us. This is not just the story of an actor. It's the redemption arc of a man who carried the weight of legacy, then turned it into his own. Michael was raised in privilege, yes, but also in emotional complexity. His father was often absent, driven by a towering work ethic and relentless ambition. His mother, Diana, brought a quiet warmth that anchored him, but the tension in their marriage eventually gave way. The couple divorced in 1951 when Michael was just 7. That rupture became his first lesson in instability. He was shuffled between homes, a child with a famous last name and no clear sense of home. He grew up watching Kirk not just dominate the silver screen, but also command rooms, decisions, and people. That kind of power intimidated young Michael. There was admiration, of course, he later admitted, but also fear, distance. While Kirk often pushed, Diana protected. The tug-of-war defined his early years, and so did rebellion. In his teens, Michael leaned away from expectations. He smoked, he partied, he tested limits. But something about film, the rhythm of storytelling, the tension between silence and dialogue, still called to him. Summers spent on set with his father left impressions he couldn't shake. It wasn't fame he craved. It was freedom within the frame. He found his first real breath at the University of California, Santa Barbara, majoring in drama. There, for the first time, he began to separate his name from his essence. It gave me a space to be unknown, he recalled. Encouraged by professors and friends, he dove into acting seriously. He wasn't yet great, but he was grounded. After graduating in 1968, he moved to New York to study under the revered acting coach Win Handman at the American Place Theater. In those formative years, Michael took whatever roles he could get. Guest appearances on the FBI and medical center weren't glamorous, but they taught him presence. Audiences noted something different, a quiet intensity. He wasn't trying to be his father. He was exploring the shadows, the gray areas, the psychology of men in conflict. It was subtle, but unmistakable. A new Douglas was emerging. His breakout came in 1972 with The Streets of San Francisco, where he starred as young Inspector Steve Keller opposite veteran Carl Malden. The chemistry between them was magnetic, mentor and mentee on and off screen. The show was a hit, and Michael finally found his footing. More than visibility, it gave him discipline, structure, a rhythm of work he could trust. But while still on that show, he made a bold pivot that changed everything. Kirk had long wanted to produce One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, but Hollywood had passed. Michael, sensing something essential in the story, picked up the rights, partnered with Saul Zaentz, and brought in Milos Forman to direct. The result, a seismic cultural moment. The film won 5 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. At just 31, Michael Douglas stood on stage as a producer, separate from his father's orbit, finally building his own gravity. Then came Romancing the Stone in 1984, a swashbuckling romantic adventure that revealed his charm, his timing, his vulnerability. Audiences loved him. A sequel followed, and then 1987 delivered the one-two punch that made him iconic. First, Fatal Attraction. As Dan Gallagher, he portrayed a man caught between temptation and consequence. It was raw, visceral, terrifyingly modern. Then Wall Street. Gordon Gekko, greedy, seductive, ruthless, was unlike anything he'd done before. Greed, for lack of a better word, is good, he declared, and America listened. The role earned him the Oscar for Best Actor and sealed his place in cinematic history. By the end of the 80s, Michael Douglas was no longer living in anyone's shadow. He was a name, a force, a legacy, finally his own. But the higher you climb, the more fragile the air becomes. At the height of his success, Michael Douglas seemed untouchable. An Oscar-winning actor, a respected producer, and a face recognized across generations. He had become the very image of control. But behind that image, storms were brewing. The first cracks appeared in the form of emotional fatigue. Fame, as he once said, is a fantastic suit of armor until it starts to rust from the inside. In the 1990s, while still delivering powerful performances in films like Basic Instinct, Falling Down, and The American President, Michael was also navigating deeper waters. The unraveling of his first marriage, the disconnection from his son Cameron, and the creeping realization that success couldn't protect him from personal implosion. He threw himself into work, both in front of and behind the camera. But the imbalance took its toll. Cameron, his son with first wife Diandra Luker, struggled with identity, addiction, and direction. As Michael soared on screen, his son descended into heroin and cocaine addiction. In 2010, Cameron was sentenced to 7 years in federal prison for drug trafficking. Michael, devastated and candid, didn't hide. "I'll take responsibility for being an absent father," he said in a searing interview. "But I never stopped loving him." Then another blow. That same year, Michael began experiencing persistent throat discomfort and trouble swallowing. At first, doctors misdiagnosed it. By the time the truth emerged, it was stage 4 cancer. The world gasped. How could someone so vital, so commanding, be so suddenly vulnerable? The diagnosis was terrifying, not just for its severity, but for its symbolism. His voice, that commanding presence, was under threat. Treatment was brutal. Intense radiation, chemotherapy, rapid weight loss, exhaustion. But Michael chose not to disappear. He spoke publicly, attended events when he could, and allowed the world to witness his fight. It wasn't bravado, it was transparency. And then came the storm within the storm. In a 2013 interview, he suggested that his cancer may have been caused by HPV, contracted through oral sex, a statement that shocked the public and stirred global conversation about male health, sexual stigma, and cancer awareness. He later clarified, saying his intention had always been to educate, not sensationalize. But the moment was telling. Even under scrutiny, he chose candor. Privately, he bore the fear that surgery could disfigure his face or take his voice. For an actor, that was existential. For a man already grappling with generational identity and public scrutiny, it was a nightmare. He later revealed that the cancer had been on his tongue, not his throat as initially reported, but he had hidden that detail to protect future career options. It was a reminder, even in illness, legacy lingered. But that wasn't the end of his trials. His wife, Catherine Zeta-Jones, was diagnosed with bipolar II disorder. The couple, long viewed as Hollywood's golden pair, announced a separation in 2013. The press circled like sharks. But what could have ended in collapse became a rare Hollywood redemption. The time apart became space for healing. They reconciled. "We gave each other room to breathe," Michael said simply. Meanwhile, loss continued to shape him. In 2004, his half-brother Eric died from a drug overdose after years of battling addiction. Michael had tried interventions, rehab, and support, but the weight of family trauma proved too heavy. "Some things you can't save," he admitted, "but you never stop trying." Then in 2020, his father, Kirk Douglas, passed away at 103. Though long expected, the loss was seismic. Their relationship had been fraught, complex, even competitive. But in later years, they had found peace. "I never thought I'd outlive him," Michael said. "But I did. And in doing so, I finally understood him." These years reshaped Michael Douglas, not as a performer, but as a man. He became slower to anger, quicker to listen. He traded high-stakes thrillers for introspective roles. In 2013, he stunned audiences as Liberace in Behind the Candelabra. The transformation was profound, both in craft and courage. The performance won him a Primetime Emmy and, more importantly, reintroduced him to younger audiences as an actor of fearless depth. Off-screen, he embraced wellness, meditation, clean eating, exercise in moderation. No longer the hard-partying force of the 80s, he became a man of discipline and grace. He spoke openly about male cancer screenings, mental health, and the importance of showing up for those you love. Not just in words, but in presence. And through it all, he remained close to Cameron. Even during prison years, Michael visited regularly, read letters, offered support. Cameron eventually got clean, rebuilt his life, and wrote a memoir. "My dad never gave up on me," he wrote, "even when I had given up on myself." Today, they stand side by side, not as a perfect family, but as survivors of a long, painful sobriety journey. Perhaps Michael's most personal quote in recent years came not from a red carpet, but from a quiet moment captured in an interview. "You never outgrow the need to heal, but you do learn how to carry the weight with grace." It's not the kind of line that wins Oscars, but it's the kind that saves people. Today, Michael Douglas stands not just as a veteran of cinema, but as a survivor of life. His presence has shifted from that of a magnetic leading man to a reflective, elder statesman of the screen. The voice that once delivered lines like "greed is good" now speaks of balance, forgiveness, and the fragility of time. He lives between residences, often spending time in New York, Mallorca, and occasionally Los Angeles, where the hills still remember his rise. No longer rushing from set to set, he chooses his projects with care. In recent years, he found renewed global acclaim as Doctor. Hank Pym, in Marvel's Ant-Man franchise, introducing himself to a new generation who may never have seen Wall Street or Fatal Attraction, but now call him the guy who built the quantum suit. Yet behind the blockbuster credits is a man who spends more of his time off-screen mentoring, giving back, and reflecting. He supports numerous cancer awareness initiatives, speaks openly about men's health, and has become a vocal proponent of mental wellness, particularly within families. In quiet ways, he honors his lineage while reshaping it. The Douglas name once evoked power and stoicism. Today, through Michael, it evokes compassion, redemption, and emotional honesty. He doesn't run from the past, he repurposes it. He mentors young actors, offers support to film school graduates, and funds storytelling workshops that explore recovery, fatherhood, and the human condition. He doesn't seek headlines anymore. He seeks depth. Even in his home life, he's shifted. Where once the pace was relentless, now there are routines. Morning coffee with Catherine on the terrace, phone calls with Cameron and his grandchildren, long walks along coastal paths. He keeps a small, leather-bound notebook by his bed, a habit he picked up during treatment, where he writes 3 things he's grateful for each night. One entry reads, simply, "My voice, my son, my second chance." That quiet routine, more than any award, defines his current legacy. And yes, the legacy is undeniable. 2 Oscars, an Emmy, countless unforgettable roles. But the true measure of Michael Douglas isn't what he achieved. It's what he endured and transformed. He showed us that legacy isn't something you're born with. It's something you earn through choices, failures, comebacks, and courage. In a recent interview, when asked what advice he'd give his younger self, he smiled and said, "Don't rush the redemption." Sometimes the fall is where the story begins, and that's what makes his journey unforgettable. Not the red carpets, not the fame, but the humility to begin again and again. So picture this: Michael Douglas, now 80, standing barefoot on the wooden deck of his home by the sea. The sun is setting behind him. In one hand, a book of poetry. In the other, a glass of tea. He looks out across the water, not searching for anything, just watching, breathing, present. It's the quiet strength of a man who has made peace with the noise. If his life were a film, this would be the final shot, and the last line might be whispered more than spoken. Legacy is what your grandkids learn from your mistakes. Thank you for joining us in this tribute to a man who turned fame into depth, pain into purpose, and a name into a legacy. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Because behind every iconic face is a journey worth remembering, and we'll be here to tell it.